interesting to see, actually. Thought perhaps we would see the swap outs coming through. Maybe Huni would make his return, but they will still be pushing forward with Untara, with Peanut, and I guess technically with Faker as well, because there still is Sky in the back room.
I just hope that when we get to the playoffs, when inevitably SKT will highly expected to be involved in some fashion, even if it's from the baby steps of it, let's hope that the choices they make in lineup make sense, because we're learning a bit about every configuration of SKT as we move forward. SKT are on blue side this time, so can ban Jace with a bit more freedom. But what I want to see from SKT is a more meta bot lane setup. It's about getting something like Braum onto Wolf. Thresh also a pick he's played. But getting some sort of champion that has roaming support, that can actually visit side lanes and make plays happen. They keep counter-picking for bot lane, and it's not working. And Wolf on the Zyro was just called out too many times in Game 1.
Yeah, way too squishy, just pushing forward, trying to get those roots down, but instead gets punished for it. Galio will be banned away here by SK Telecom alongside that Jace, as you mentioned. So far, it's just going to be standard from Longshu, the Caitlyn, and the Zac.
I don't think they have too many queries. I think Longshu will go pretty tutorial bans. Third one here, expected to be the Kalista, even if Bang has been struggling on it. It'd be a surprise to see anything else, but we had the surprise in Game 1. Blue side Thresh ban for SKT is a bit of a worry, gotta say. Was a big pick for Wolf when he started, and okay, Longshu have the same read I do. I thought it would just be a Kalista ban, so that part I was mistaken on, but they do not want to allow Faker the lane pressure of the LeBlanc that hasn't yet been a big pick in Korea, but is very strong into certain champions like the Taliyah. It can carry through mid games. It's so massive as a pick that it is being banned in NA very frequently. It gets through here, and speaking of what gets through, Longshu just takes so much power on the red side in exchange for getting Peanut his second Elise of the season. He's a great Elise, but you know when you're out of meta, when in the Cinder Hulk meta you have to rush for Elise first pick just to allow Peanut a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one, started the Proto Belt Elise, going very aggressive with that pick, so could see him just go back to that style.
But the problem is,
there's a Kog'Maw now.
You look at your picks and you're like, okay, well, Kog'Maw is good against the Kalista. That's an option you can go. A lot of teams, when they see Kalista first pick, will go into protect the Kog'Maw comp. But then the Elise sticks out as a sore thumb. Sure, she can be a bit of a bridging point, get 4 kills in the early game, and allow your lanes to have pressure. But usually you want a Gragas with the Kog'Maw. We even saw Skarner with the Kog'Maw of all things from KT. You usually want some sort of displacement tank to buy space for the Kog'Maw. So already there's a disconnect between the two. And speaking of Gragas, after a fantastic Gragas game, why not go for it again? And Longshu already have 3 of the same picks. I'm worried, Achilles, because they can't get 5, but they can get pretty close to the same picks as Game 1.
I'm sure everybody watching and trying to cheer for SKT at this moment is getting a little bit worried here. Kog'Maw, if you can make it to that late game point, can absolutely destroy anybody that Longshu brings to the table. But can he get there is going to be the question. You see the Braum ban coming through. Seems like Longshu, expecting this Karma to be in the mid lane for Faker, has played this recently as well.
Yeah, it's been a big pick for him over the course of the season, but not recently. He's 1-1 on it for summer season. It honestly hasn't been a big pick in either role. I guess Crown has been playing it pretty frequently, but has been a pick in 2017 that Faker has enjoyed. A lot of engaged supports being banned. They want to get relative safety for their Kog'Maw, but you got to say Gragas already, and the Weaver's Wall to some extent, are things that Kog'Maw are going to be frustrated about. Fate's Call is another gap closer. Kalista Alistar is available for Longshu if they want it, and it's a big pick. So will we actually see an Alistar ban from SKT?
Well, they already banned the Rakan, so could just go ahead, double down with the supports. And it's going to be Jax yet again, showing a lot of respect to Khan in that top lane. And also just keeping it out of the hands of Untara.
So in this scenario, Longshu finds themselves in a similar spot as SKT, where they can either blind pick a laner or blind pick support. Will Longshu look for just a support lot? They could just take Alistar here. You have the Kalista for a safe laning phase, or they could go somewhere else, and they're going to counter-pick support again. Maybe they want a bit more safety if they're going to take an engaged melee support. So Camille will be the blind pick top laner, about the strongest of split pushes available, with the Jace and the Jax banned away.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this banned away by SKT in Game 1, so did not want that into the hands of Khan, but this time around we'll be able to get that Camille, which means that he's going to have that lock-on going up against this Kog'Maw. Can just go ahead, keep him trapped into that ultimatum, and try to allow for the rest of the team to follow up and take him down.
Old counter pick of the Renekton into Camille. Now, Camille can snowball on Renekton. We've seen Smeb do that a couple of times. So, imagine that a lot of the attention from Cuz is going to be topside. Lulu, Kog'Maw, Karma as a duo makes sense, but it is a return to probably Lulu's support. Could still be Lulu mid lane, I guess. Outside chance. That flex comes in, and there's a Blitzcrank. Okay, they see a squishy support and a squishy Kog'Maw. Honestly, even Elise is a good grab target. Everyone except Renekton is grabbable, and Gorilla, for the first time in a very long time, will be running the Blitzcrank.
All right, I mean, we already saw some pretty good accuracy there with the death sentences on that Thresh in game 1, so now we'll have the Blitzcrank to come through, so very excited to see Gorilla pick this one up. It's been a major pick, you know, also here in LCK, but, you know, in the West as well, has been making a massive resurgence as a support, and going into the hands of Gorilla, one of the best that we have, is going to be quite a treat, Papa Smithy.
And it's actually, as far as I can tell, his first career game on Blitzcrank. He's played 441 games in Korea, no games of Blitzcrank, so big time to make a debut for a pick that's always been around the edge of the meta. He wasn't around in the Mad Life days right back in Season 1, Season 2. He's going to be jumping on the Blitzcrank. I thought it would be his favorite Alistar, but this is a treat to see.
All right, well, just showing us something new, perhaps, in their game to close out against SK Telecom T1. Longzhu have that momentum. We'll see if SKT can break it, finally find themselves a win.
SKT, they don't want to go to Hook City, but Gorilla, he's inviting them.
He's taking them there, I think against their will. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if he can deliver with this pick. Because like you said, first time in his career to bring this one out. Doesn't want it to be a flop. Wants to have a massive amount of success and just shut out SKT with another 2-0 loss.
Lots of hype about their Achilles. They get into game very shortly, but Kalista Blitz. Think of the hook length. You can pull off some fun tricks with those two.
I mean, this is the Ballista composition that we've seen. You have some very dirty plays when you couple that Fate's Call in, really drag people in underneath that turret. Let's go ahead, load up for game 2.
Whoa.
Okay, here we go.
No time for fighting. We're getting fighting on the Rift.
All right, well, T1 fighting indeed. Faker already without that flash. And, I mean, yeah, they could just go for another invade if they really want to.
But also, let's credit Longzhu, because game 1, they had information about the predictable pathing from a Sejuani and got a massive lead through how they warded at level 1 and how they played. Now they have the information that Faker's flash is down. You can make some aggressive plays of your own with that information, so excited to see what they do. We see a ward from Untara on the enemy red, but that was spotted by Longzhu, so that's information they can work around. If Longzhu can set up control rods around the bot side, Talia plus a roaming Blitzcrank, if he's not in vision, you get control ward supremacy on bot side. It is the most headaches for a Kog'Maw. We've seen Kog'Maw comps even as recently as Rift Rivals tried against the Blitzcrank, and there's nothing you can do if you lose vision control, and no flash Karma, a Lulu support. It's pretty easy to lose vision control against what Longzhu has.
SKT, I mean, they were able to get some pretty good vision there in game 1, but it's going to have to be that much better going up against this Blitzcrank. Peanut going to be starting things off down around the bottom side, Cuz as well, so just going to be mirror jungling as they both work their way towards the top.
And that's kind of the thing that I think people have realized. There's been a lot of indirect buffs to Blitzcrank. The quest on the Relic Shield is great for him, the extra shield when he's opening up for initiation. A lot of nerfs to the range supports, Doran Shield coming in, pushing the likes of Lulu, Karma, and Zyra mostly out of the meta. SKT argues with you on that point, but mostly out of the meta. But then you get control ward line with a Blitzcrank, and hyper carries can't even enter laning phase because of the threat. It's all about the threat of a hook, not necessarily always about the hook accuracy. So a lot of options moving forward for Longzhu as Peanut is spotted on the invade.
Going to be pushing through here the red buff. Quite low enough here. Just taking a little bit of damage. Peanut looking to walk through, but actually, does he just...
He's juggling the aggro quite smartly there. They expect him to be there as bot lane.
Prey going low, but not feeling enough pressure to go ahead and pop out the heal or the flash.
I'm surprised he was able to keep it leashed in that brush. Wow, okay.
Nicely done by Cuz. Now going to be walking over. Will find these Krugs
and
going
now,
down.
Camille's actually closer to react here.
Khan coming over the wall will dodge out on that hook shot. Drops back in. Throws out the cocoon. Do they want to go in for this one? And Tara says yes. Dashes through, and the flash will come through from the Gragas.
Didn't want to give double buffs over to Renekton in a counter matchup early against the Camille. Smart choice from Cuz, but this time it's going to be the Longzhu jungler without a flash early. That was the spot Peanut was in game 1.
Nice dodge out there by Peanut. Realizing that repel at the perfect time, and now just going to be trying to counter jungle as much as humanly possible as he starts up these Raptors.
Very important for Peanut. This is the battle ward that he was known as. Elise was his first pick before Lee Sin was even in his champion pool. Lee Sin was a 2016 Worlds pick for him, and Elise, I remember quoting endless stats, I think it was 21-2 at some point in his career. Just right. Rampaging through 2016 as a Rocks Tiger on largely the Elise, which was permaban status against him. It is out of meta. It's a Cinder Hulk meta. It will continue to be, especially on 7-14. But the best junglers can make a lot of value out of Elise, and a battle ward, when your mid laner doesn't have flash, this is the time they need the traction onto Cuz. So he finds himself some comfort in champion pool. Only second game of the season on Elise, and he's able to do a job for Faker.
I'm just sad that we had the the meta transition out of the jungle without getting to see Peanut play that in Italy again. Amtar going in for an exchange. Will get slowed up by the tactical sweep, flashes away. Now Cocoon down in onto Khan, has to flash away, almost falls. First blood not yet coming through, but playing with fire is Khan right now. Peanut, he had some other form of escape, might have gone in for the flash. If he had the proto belt as well, probably would have tried to make something there, but would have been paying for that play with his own life, so we'll just let that first blood slip right through his fingers.
Khan also playing on the edge, really wanted to be able to get out. The minion wave that might have answered him is, that's a pretty aggressive dive.
Do they just want to go for this one? Yeah, body slam coming in the Cocoon, gets the lockdown, first blood goes over. Khan finds this.
Still really good for the side of Longzhu, because look what the minion wave is at on Tara. It's going to be dead for a while. He's going to lose out so many minions at the turret.
Yeah, and honestly, Khan, how frisky are you feeling?
Oh, you know he feels pretty frisky, but the
hook shot in onto this one. Could he get it? Yep. Jumps in, misses a tactical sweep, but still has the auto attack.
You know, he didn't need to be there. Too greedy for experience.
So what was that about snowballing Camille? I think you mentioned somebody named Smeb has done this in the past. Well, Khan, he's starting things off 2-0 right now.
The second kill was unacceptable. That shouldn't have happened. The first one was a trade up for Longzhu because Renekton lost an insane amount of experience.
But there was a sacrifice.
Exactly. There was a sacrifice for it. It's a 1-for-1 that favors Longzhu, but then the sacrifice of the second kill, Peanut didn't need to walk up. He didn't respect that with 1 second left on the death timer, Khan would say, whatever, I'm going to turret dive anyway. Gets out as well. This time Khan's feeling empowered, Achilles. If there was a double buff transfer, if there wasn't that early flash from Cuz, this may never have happened. But because he was able to flash out defensively, in the end, SKT play with fire and they get burned.
I mean, I was just thinking, if the case that if Khan came out at the back of that with 2 kills and double buffs, that would just be disgusting.
That could be lane over, which SKT, in the spot they find themselves in, certainly not something they want to entertain.
Oh, well, Faker does some damage.
No shop yet from BDD.
Yeah, it turns out Karma still has some nice values there, but now bot lane looking to turn into a bit of a party flash in for the knock-up. They get the hook down onto Bang, and he is just going to die. Prey with a Ren comes up with the kill, and the Cathian Surprise not going to do enough damage to find anything. Just kind of tickles Gorilla a little bit.
Welcome to the bot lane, where if you're Kog'Maw Lulu and have no wards and your jungler just died topside, hasn't played a visit to bot side, you just die, Achilles.
There's a lot of
it's not much of a game show.
There's a lot of asterisks onto that
list. It's literally just death, because there's nothing he can do. And the moment that happens, the next control ward is going to be safer to put down. You don't have vision to respect. This is just the start. That's a successful gank before we even have to talk about Fate's Call.
Longzhu definitely accelerating the pace of the game here a bit faster than we saw in game 1. Old lead still not going to be very massive, but they are making the moves because, you know, just going straight from the top lane down to the bottom lane, making things happen. Infernal Drake likely going to be something that they look for in the next few minutes here.
Peanut is the most important person in this game right now. Because of the top side, a lot of headaches are created. What we need to talk about is that now he needs to be the one to help Karma get some vision on the enemy jungle, get some vision around the bot side. He played top side, that failed. Now he needs to play bot side, or at least around the Kog'Maw if he rotates around the map. Because guaranteeing farm onto Kog'Maw is so difficult to do against a Blitzcrank composition. And now he's got the multiple headaches because Camille does have those 2 kills, like you mentioned.
It nearly has that phage to come through. So Khan is in a very nice spot. Keep it up relatively well as far as the CS is concerned. But we'll have that gold lead just for the kills.
And just to be clear, in the 2v2 laning phase, I mean, Bang turns on the Bioarcane Barrage, you get speed up. There's nothing Kalista can do pre-6, and she can only all in. if Fate's Core is up. So you only have all-in or just take free damage options. But it's so infrequently going to be like that because we're just waiting for those control wards to come down, and then suddenly Kog'Maw never can stand up. So for now at least, very comfortable laning phase for Bang. Down some CS from dying, but apart from that, doing just fine.
There's a Bilge Water Cutlass, so nice sustain built in here, as well as those shields that Wolf can offer up to try to mitigate some of that damage coming through. But the Ballista is up and operational, as long as you find an opening.
I like real hooks, very rarely the right thing to do, but you pull one of those off against SKT in a slump, and then I mean, SKT's the one team.
Top of Reddit.
SKT's the one team you never accuse of mental boom because these guys are all so experienced. They have a great support staff, but you start the style plays, and then who's to say?
Oh, well, Faker gonna get jumped on. Explosive Cast comes through. He will get the root, but BDD's riding in on that Weaver's wall. Faker flashing over to the side, but the seismic shove is there. And BDD will go ahead and scoop up the 4th kill for Longzhu.
He needed to have an Elise there if he was going to play up and try to put down Vision. Solo Vision mission by Faker. He said, I have Flash, I'm Karma, I'll be fine. It was a bit like one of those ambition submission position moves because it puts the hole on the bot side. It makes it bigger and makes the safety of Prey and Gorilla to play up that much safer.
Gonna go ahead, just get rid of this vision that SKT has had in the bottom lane, making it that much more susceptible to ganks.
Just got the double control ward down that gave them the chance to actually take those aggressive trades with the Kog'Maw, and suddenly those start to go, and the problems start to flow if Blitzcrank can also start contesting some of those buffs from Peanut.
Gorilla just keeps cheating around that minion wave, trying to threaten out for that hook.
I gotta admit, Kilios, while we have a moment, it does feel a bit like I'm watching an art film every time I watch SKT now, and that's not actually a compliment or a comment on their play. I just have to keep wondering, what does this mean? It's the greater meaning, right, of what does this mean in the scope of Worlds, in the scope of the history of SKT as a dominant organization. 1, 2, 3 losses, you're like, well, you know, this could be a blip, but it goes on longer, and you start making those very, those very airy comments. You feel like you're talking about wine or something,
so
because
what is the social commentary in SK Telecom's play than Papa Smithy?
I don't know. Is TSM now better than SKT? It's been talked about in Twitch chat every stream forever.
Oh no, what you have just opened a floodgate, my friend.
I'm saying about the what-ifs. I'm not making a comment on my point. I'm talking about the what-ifs.
All right. Well,
the what-ifs get louder every time SKT loses a game.
There you go. Papa Smithy, that's part of his ranking for Worlds in 2017.
If I have to put it to paper, I just choose SKT and I smile. All right,
well,
Cuz alone.
Get jumped on. It takes a lot of damage. The tether will not connect here from the side of Faker, but Wolf arrives. And he's got the lockdown, but the hook from Gorilla comes over the wall. They get the silence, but the Wild Growth does still come through. BDD getting Polymorph, trying to push in.
Uses
the cleanse to try to chase this one in, but the threaded volley is just nipping at the heels of Wolf. He will make it out of there with his life.
Second time Cuz been a bit too aggressive. This time no counter kill comes through. Does deny Kog'Maw. Bit of CS at the lane as Blitzcrank can just walk back in, and Lulu had to make the back. This is the bigger problem though, Achilles. The Renekton counter matchup. Looking less and less like that as the items rain in for Khan.
Still is behind considerably as far as the CS is concerned, but if he can get that all in, just find a kill, turn that one around for himself.
He'd like a turret to play under as well.
BD, Flash Forward does not have that cleanse. He takes way too much damage. Feather will connect and he will fall as Peanut finds that kill. Khan still coming through with the TP, will be completed by Untar as well. Tries to get the Hextech ultimatum. Won't be able to get so as that Repel denies it, but they still are able to take down Peanut. The explosive cast from Cuz scooping that one up.
Actually able to cancel the Hextech ultimatum. Wasn't even used in that particular fight. Attempted to be used, but was cancelled by the animation. Cuz, as you mentioned, snipes away with the cask, so they get the trade kill anyway. This would be a nice prize in the back end, but it's Kalista once again. Keep leaving up Kalista. They keep playing around with leaving this pick open. It'll be 0-4 against Kalista since Rift Rivals if they go down in this game.
So, yeah, I mean, somebody wants to go ahead and make that Wheel of Fortune image, ban Kalista. Might be a good idea to show that one over to SKT if they lose this game.
But I just wish that I had the full information. I wish, to continue with my art film analogy, I knew I want to be the fly on the wall because it's not just one person. It's not just Koma saying, nah, Kalista's bad, guys, don't pick it. He's going to definitely defer to his veterans in the bot lane about how to play around Kalista, strategies around Kalista. And clearly, as a unit, they're deciding that this is a pick they can leave open, and yet the evidence points to the contrary. So to understand, in game one we knew why, right? They understood if the game gets to a point, if we're solid in our macro, Sejuani, unkillable tanks with Galio, we can deal with the Kalista and late game team fights. It just never got there because Longzhu were better at snowballing than SKT were able at containing. In this game, they leave it open, and it's a very good answer, and it gave them so many options for support. We see Gorilla, for the first time in his career in the pro scene, roll the dice on the Blitzcrank. It fits the situation perfectly, and again, you start to wonder about the decision to keep leaving open the Kalista.
It's just weird stuff from SKT, but at least the gold lead is going to be very, very close, if not just basically non-existent here so far, despite the majority of the kills being in favor of Longzhu. No turrets have fallen yet, so gold lead hasn't really been given not too much room to grow. See, Antara basically making up for the deficit that Bang finds himself in that bottom lane, so just helping to keep things very tight.
Peanut's doing his best after the initial setback to be the force on the map he needs to be, to try to equalize the pressure, mostly around borders. Okay, catches top lane.
Through, yeah, denies that. Hook shot, Khan will get the slow up, but the TP's coming through here from Faker, so they really want to take down this Camille. He throws down the ultimatum, has to leave it, which cancels it out. As he desperately tries to get into the welcoming arms of BDD, but he's going to fall first, so Antara picks up a kill.
Ends up being a free kill. Teleport, only thing invested by SKT. They don't make a counterplay across the map, even though it's a low health turret. If BDD had roamed down and put down the Weaver's Wall, his turret will go down for free, but maybe it does anyway with BDD showing an award, and it will be first brick over to the side of Long.
Yep, so one final shot, there we go. They do have this, so this opens up a little bit of a lead now for Longzhu. But want it to be so much further ahead. They haven't really been able to shut out the CS numbers as much as they would like BDD falling behind as well as Khan. It's costing them quite a bit of that potential. Almost having that cocoon land, might have been an all-in. Baker still wrapping his way around, but the blast cone comes through. BDD takes himself out to safety.
Now Gorilla's unlocked on the map, though, so it's much harder to overextend as Karma and Renekton. With there being no punishment, now you do have to respect that if control wards come down, there are other options, as Khan is chasing on to Antara.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall coming through here, so it seems like Longzhu just want to go all in onto the Renekton, and there's nowhere for him to go. Decides to jump to the side, and he will fall down.
Well, about as easy as can be.
Flash in!
Okay!
Gorilla has the hook, locks down Faker, but he's got the shield. We'll throw him in with a Fate's Call. A flash away takes Faker to safety. Keeps himself alive, but Gorilla's showing off a bit. Is using both of those summoner spells without a second thought of it. Khan wrapping around the backside now.
They want the mid lane turret.
For this turret. Pressure from this Camille, is it immense enough to stop this?
Karma.
The answer is going to be no, because Karma, as you say.
Karma does have the wave clear. Karma's the safer choice, but does pigeonhole them into the comp they ended up on.
Thank you for the setup, says Peanut.
Very heavy utility build coming through, a cooldown reduction build, I should say. It's only 10% cooldown reduction on the Athenes now after the changes, but will be Athenes after Morellonomicon. Extra ability power will help the shielding and the Q strength, though. You're not used to seeing that build, because like, wait, that's 20% and 20%, but no longer the way with the Athenes. Ardent Sensor might be rolled in as well. And we're going to be seeing a lot of Ardent Sensor Taric on the next patch. I hear that's good.
Oh boy. Maybe we'll see more comeback.
No, we will not. His comeback won't be short-lived.
Yeah. Everett, though, surprising. You know, just crushing yesterday.
Let's not talk about that series. This one's way better.
Oh, no, it is.
That one made me sad. It's hard to see Legends fall, as some SKT fans are probably feeling today, and how I feel on Shai's 26th birthday yesterday. Was not the best display, let's say.
Something Trundle.
He was certainly a troll. Good wall control. You see double control around the bot side river, which means that Talia, if she decides to come in with the Weaver's Wall soon to be available, will be coming out of vision. You're not playing exclusively on top side. Good CS lead for the Renekton, but with those early kills, it's not the 0-1-2 Camille it could have been.
Everyone just tiptoeing around this top side of the map at the moment. No one really showing forward.
Drake is the next spawn, so you can be a bit more liberal in ignoring the bot side of the map.
Want to make sure that nobody picks up that Rift Herald.
What I want to see from SKT as the game goes on is, we talked about the solo vision contest mission, as we see Longzhu entering the mid lane. This might actually finally be the mid lane turret going down.
Yeah, Faker's not there to offer up the wave clear, so this will just fall. Longzhu picks up their second turret. 2,000 gold lead over to them, so nothing too massive, nothing that's unrecoverable by SK Telecom, but they are slipping behind yet again.
Just to finish the point, what I want to see from SKT is if they do try to contest Vision, which inevitably you have to at some point in the game, they cannot do it as one. They tried it with just Karma earlier. They need to be smarter at contesting Vision because everywhere they can't go, i.e. everywhere controlled by a control ward from the side of Longzhu, could be a Blitzcrank, could be instant death. So you have to, as a team, play the Vision game more so than ever with the Blitzcrank on the map. It's good to see. 4 members down. They get rid of the control ward as the Drake spawns.
Ready to push through, but fighting over the Cloud Drake for either of these teams doesn't really seem like an objective that they would like to go for. Will be started up by Longzhu. This could allow for a fast track onto that turn by SK Telecom, but instead they do want to go for the
Hooks
fight.
down.
The hook from Gorilla does whiff. Doesn't find anything. Ren stacks coming through here for Price. You would have to expect Longzhu to be able to pick this one up, but it's going to be the ensuing fight.
Already cast there.
Throws it out, doesn't find anything, and it seems like both of them might go their separate ways. There's a massive wave built up here in the bottom side of the map that SKT does have to respond to.
SKT does kind of lose in multiple different ways because they don't contest. Camille gets free farm in mid and the wave is pushed in. So because they make no decision, the indecision is pretty heavily punished. 19 minutes 20, so Rift Herald is still on the map. Could be a very late take, but SKT are going to walk up.
Just don't think it would happen fast enough here for the side of Longzhu. So they will just go ahead and spend some gold as Khan holds on to this top turret, trying to catch back up here alongside Untara. Still going to be dragging behind a little bit as far as that CS is concerned.
But 17, and with the 2 kills, honestly, it's pretty much gold parity on the side of Untara. Sorry, from the side of Khan, I should say. So
he wants to be ahead even more.
Untara certainly does, but Khan is pretty happy with his spot. 2 items complete. You're going to play the side lanes, but it's much more easy for them to play the side lanes when they have the turret advantage and also the Blitzcrank compared to SKT, where every time Karma enters bot lane, they can't really invade to contest Vision, and then you just wonder, wait, where's the Blitzcrank at? Potential headaches it might cause. We have that information. He's top lane.
Could be giving Untara some pain here in the near future.
Talia is bot lane with no teleport, of course, and the Weaver's Wall is not going to help if there's a 5v5 in top side. It's now the juggle of playing up and trying to get the most, but also respecting the collapse potential from SKT.
Oh yeah, that double control brush right there. Fat money going over to Cuz.
The most controlled.
Now you really can't see anything. All right, well, BDD is already gone ahead, wrapped around, knows that he drew enough pressure for somebody to have to answer that wave, so Untara has swapped down to the bottom side of the map, and Longzhu just want to go ahead and open up, try to find this one. Flash forward yet again, Gorilla does find the hook. Bates call already prepped just to keep Faker locked down, ensure that he cannot use that flash at all. Peanut will be able to make it over the wall with his own. Takes quite a bit of damage from BDD on the exit, but that will be this final outer turret going over to Longzhu as they just keep up the pressure.
I mean, Longzhu's just playing as a team. The 5-man roam, the 4-man roam is so on point, and SKT, they rely on, okay, I've got a champion with great wave clear that'll stop it going down on this wave, but they have the extra initiation. They have the earlier grouping. Kalista makes grouping so easy. Often AD carries wanted to stay bot lane, farm up, where's my 3 items? But when you have the Fate's Call, you know you'll make the play with the Blitzcrank, whether the hook hits or whether the hook misses. They continue to snowball. 2 items there for Kalista, who just wants to speed up the pace of the game and stay strongest. And for now, at least, SKT will get a lot of damage on the bot lane turret, but that's about it.
And he's getting pinched on here. Cuz does have that explosive cask ready to go. He can try to lock down Untara, gets the body slam off, slows him up. Knocks him back, and well, there's 2 other members here. Just go ahead and take him down. So he'll pop that dominance. He'll buy a little bit more time, but it was not long for this world. So Khan, with his 3rd kill, 3-1-2 on this Camille, is just becoming absolutely disgusting for SK Telecom. They have to try to deal with him. Has that Tiamat coming through as well.
He didn't have the vision control bot side to be that far pushed up. We've criticized Keen from Everate, for example, being a young player coming in, not being able to make those plays. And solo death is what you call a play like that, where he doesn't have the vision control, even though he's at a decent point in terms of dueling with the enemy Camille. He doesn't have the vision or the team support to play there, and that just means that Khan walks in, It's going to take a free turret. Nothing Untara can do to answer it. Will not teleport, so it will die too fast. And of course, wants to hold on to that for the team play. And it's a bonus objective because SKT misallocate in the mid game.
I mean, let's be real. Khan was able to finish off that turret before Untara even respawned.
Yep.
So he's just got so much power behind him right now. And Longzhu are looking very good.
It's simple macro.
In position to go ahead and close this one out. Gorilla sitting in the brush, now pushing forward. They have to try to bend the hook around those spiderlings, which seems a bit difficult and doesn't have his flash available at the moment. So it's just pressuring SK Telecom out of their own jungle at the moment. Now Bang will flash away, gets himself over the wall as well. So decent positioning now for him as Peanut gets popped over with a seismic shove.
The cooldown trade, though, Achilles, does mean that Bang's flash is now down, and even Lulu, she's only level 9, not going to be doing the most in order to keep little Cogmore alive.
Cogmore.
I think I said Cogmore, which is some middle ground between Pug and Cog.
Well, they're going to try to make a play in onto Prey. Takes quite a bit of damage. Is able to jump back with that flash to avoid the ultimate coming down from
all
the
in.
Cogmore. Yeah, they will just go in. Khan trying to lock down in on a Baker. Goes forward, finds the kill yet again. Now Untara getting a nice heal coming through, but he is still just a lamb to the slaughter. Double kill over to Khan. BDD going to go ahead and scoop up a third. Bang yet again. The Agathian surprise just not going to be able to do anything. And Longzhu are looking for Baron.
I just don't understand how SKT keep drafting the same identity, keep ignoring what's strong in the meta. The Kalista is going to beat them, it seems, for a 4th time. Longzhu control the pace of the game again. They start grouping. They've got Wombo engaged. Of course they do. They have Kalista, and they got the counter pick of any engaged support. Whether it was Alistar or Blitzcrank, it would have worked. But this is the most brazen on the paper from Khan, but then they walk in, there's so much engage, already Fate's Call used, someone's gonna get bounced into the team. It's the karma, and from there, it's only ever gonna be a killing field for Longzhu Gaming.
Well, SKT, I mean, it was very competitive at the start of this game, but now the hopes are just all but completely gone now. Everything just dwindling. They're suffering such a heavy gold deficit at the moment, 8,000 gold behind. 11-4, Longzhu are just stomping them out.
Again, there's a way this comp can beat the Longzhu comp. It's not impossible. It's not like they've drafted themselves no win conditions to Untara. He's caught.
Well, they do have a TP, threatened out by Faker, but they just get a free flash, they get a teleport taken away, so Longzhu with that pressure still come out on top no matter what.
But what I want the viewers at home to understand is that sure, they walked up, they killed 4 people. It's easy to say, well, that was the mistake. But the mistake was before. The mistake was bot lane with Untara, pushing up without vision, losing a free inner turret that gives them all the extra control around bot side. That was the mistake that can't be repeatable if you're going to try to outscale, because it's about losing the minimum. Instead, they were pushing up. Untara was going to get trade nothing more as Bang's caught.
Yeah, he's just going to get popped right into there. He goes down. BDD not able to kill because he does scoop this one up for himself. Banshee's Veil going to eat that passive from the Cogmall, and it's just turrets falling around the map as Longzhu just have the full court press going.
And there's really nothing SKT can do. They're going to lose a inhibitor turret here, you'd imagine. Renekton already.
I mean, no one can walk up towards Gorilla.
Or Prey with the Fate's Call for Gorilla to make it even easier to hit the hook. We were talking about Hook City when you have control wards. They're doing it in front of them, in front of the base at 26 minutes.
I mean, this is such a swift game here for Longzhu. Still not over yet, but you'd expect that this one's probably going to be ending in the next 5 minutes or so, perhaps, unless SKT can put on one hell of a defense as they lose their second inhibitor.
It's just so hard to say anything, Helios, because the despair that you're going to be feeling as an SKT fan is that, again, there's not really one person to blame. There's a lot of factors to put in here. And people should know that if you're not aware, in Korea, there's quite a lot of out-of-game issues. Bang is struggling with some feedback from the community. There's been a lot of frayed tempers there because of the loss to Rift Rivals and other things spilling in. So outside of game stuff, that seems to be a query. In-game, though, macro-wise, this is SKT. They have the most impeccable macro of any organization ever. It keeps letting them down, and with multiple different rotations of players. It's not just Untara's fault. It's just the most obvious mistakes in this particular game. Their drafting also was behind the 8-ball. They came back from Rift Rivals. Both top laners playing almost only Jackson solo queue. They believed in 1-3-1 and 4-1. That was not working for them. They've gone back to team fighting against Jin Air, and today that's not working for them. when it comes to drafting, the focus on Lulu and Zyra, that can be criticized. That's not just Koma's decision. There's everywhere across the board question marks, and we can't know everything, but the end result is what we see. And the end result is Longzhu looking for a 2-0.
I mean, it seems like they're going to have this one. The Weaver's Wall just to cut off SK Telecom. They have to worry about these super creeps that are piling into the base anyway. Third inhibitor will go down. And Longzhu are looking for a pre-30-minute victory, a 2-0 victory over SKT, and that'll hand them their 4th in a row.
They're 13,000 gold up, so they got initiation. Doesn't matter if a hook misses. They're looking to close the game. Would take something incredible from SKT to stop it happening now.
I mean, before you would expect, this is the team that does have that X factor that could turn something around, but just hasn't been looking that way as of late, so seems like they still will just be suffering another loss. Khan looking for that hook shot, not going to find it. The hook from Gorilla also not going to connect. But there's a lot of damage, and Bang, he gets knocked out. The body slam forward as they try to get the lockdown, but instead they're able to turn this one around. Onto Gus, nearly falls, but it's still going to be Untara, the one getting traded as Agragas stays alive on the backside. So much damage coming through for Longzhu as they seek to finish this game. The last Nexus start getting ready to go down, and nobody from Longzhu has died. And 29 minutes just about here on the clock as Peanut desperately tries to go forward, tries to get something to trade back, tries to put another kill on the board for the team at least to help their KDA, is unable to do so. The Nexus will go down 28-56. Longzhu get the 2-0, and SKT are 4 series deep without a victory.
There is not a spare seat on the SKT side of the stadium, but there is not a peep coming out from them either, Achilles. Only calls coming from the side of Longzhu Gaming. They're the ones celebrating. They're the ones who pretty surgically, especially in Game 2, were able to take down the team comp from SKT. We talked about the support counterpick happened in both games. They chose the laning choice, the Zyra in Game 1 did SKT. Lost lane by 50 CS to a Kalista. Game 2, they leave Talia Kalista open on red side. Already, you've messed up. That's a mess up in the draft. And then the Gorilla taking his first time Blitzcrank in competitive play, and just together, you can't make mistakes. They made macro mistakes. The game ends much earlier than they would ever have imagined. And no one right now looks happy on the side of SKT. They're trying to keep Peanut's spirits up. Maybe he's understanding that's probably going to be blank playing next time. We still don't know what the best roster looks like for SKT. We don't know if they have a read on the meta because they seem to be off the boil. Individual players have struggled at different times. It's all falling apart. And like I said during the game, and kind of amusing fashion, was what does it mean? And increasingly, I'm left at a loss for words because we want to say we know what SKTT1 in League of Legends is.